Hi, I'm Tara and welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been a little while since I've posted a video, but I went on vacation and took a little break, so it was much needed, it was awesome, and now I'm back. So anyway, today I'm going to show you something cool and different to make for a party or a picnic, something that's easy to put out for people to kind of make their own thing. And it's gotten some really good reviews the times that I have made it in the past. So it's called beef bulgogi lettuce wraps. So it's kind of hard to say, but it is a Korean barbecue dish, and you can use ground beef if you want, or you can use a steak of your choice. You can use flank steak. A lot of people do that. A skirt steak. I'm going to be using a ribeye steak, so I got a nice looking ribeye here, and we will be thinly slicing this up and then making a marinating it for a couple of hours. You can do it overnight as well if you have the time. And then we'll put together the different ingredients that we'll be putting out for our kind of like lettuce wrap bar. We'll have some cold Asian noodles that we're going to cook up. We'll slice up real thin some pieces of carrot, some radishes, some green onion, things like that. And then once you make your lettuce wraps with the cooked steak and all the fixins, you just kind of hit it with some of the sweet chili sauce at the end, and it gives it that kind of zing. They're really good. So I hope you enjoy them. Let's get started. So we are going to start by slicing up this ribeye. Now this one has a bone in it, so first I'm just going to kind of cut the bone out to see what we're working with to slice. So you can kind of just feel around where the bone is. Okay. Pretty much a big piece of fat. All right, that is fat as well. Oh, there's a bone there. I'm clearly not a butcher. I really don't work with steak hardly ever, honestly, so this is like out of my comfort zone, but I know how good this dish is, so we're doing it. And if you find like pieces, just try to get as much meat as you can off of it, and then we'll get it all sliced up. Okay, this all feels like meat. So, and what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're cutting against the grain. So if you look at the steak, you can see how the grain marks are going down that way, right? So you're going to want to cut across them this way. Now we don't want long strips of this because you want to think about, how big do you want the piece of meat in your lettuce wrap? So I'm going to say we cut a line down here first, and then we slice thin against the grain, okay? So that's what we're going to do. And I'll just put this aside. All right, and we will just cut down the middle first. These parts can be, and then we'll do that one later. All right, this will be a little more manageable, I think. All right, and then just, you want to cut these slices thin. You can see, what they look like. Oh, can you? There you go. You can kind of see what they look like there, so. Okay. And, don't be afraid of a little fat. This is steak, and fat means flavor, right? So just, if you've got like a big chunk, I don't see the reason for that, honestly, but not in this use, Big clumps like that you can get rid of. Otherwise, just slice it up. takes a little while. All right. So here is all of our beef. This is, now I'm gonna weigh this actually. My scale over here, without the bone, with actually the amount of meat that we're using. And it is 1 pound 3 ounces. So that's how much I'm using, just for your information. Now we'll go ahead and make the marinade. So one of the ingredients in the marinade is Asian pear. So this is what it looks like. Here you go. And we are going to peel it and then grate it for the marinade. So, all right, so let's peel. This is exciting, right? Cut the pieces that we can grate. This calls for half of a small pear grated. So we really only need half of this. Might actually need a bowl, right? All right, so we'll take half of this and grate it into the bowl. All right, that's not as much of a pain in the ass as I thought it was gonna be, so it's good. Ah. All right, so there's our grated pear. The next ingredient is a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I always use the less sodium version because it tastes the damn same and it's better for you, so, you know, just something to think about. So do a 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Put that in there. What do I do? Oh! Brown sugar. I don't do a lot of baking, so I never know what I have when it comes to this kind of stuff. Okay. 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons. All right. So we need 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Obviously, this is giving it a sweetness too, right? I'm gonna go crazy. Okay, 2 tablespoons brown sugar. Okay, next we need 2 tablespoons of dark sesame oil or toasted sesame oil. This stuff has a great flavor. And if you watched my video on I forget exactly what I called it, but the stir fry, I think it's chicken stir fry fried rice or something like that. I can't even remember, but that, anytime I make fried rice or a stir fry with rice, I always use this toasted sesame oil. It's so good. Okay, so we're doing 2 tablespoons of this. It's got lots and lots of toasty flavor. All right, next we're gonna do 3 to 4 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna use the garlic press. I'm going with 4. I'm going with 4 because I love garlic, so try not to just throw it right into the bowl and instead put it in your garlic press and press it in there. I just like to use the garlic press because it minces it really nicely. You know, I think it gets the most flavor out. Sometimes you get like pieces at the top there. Let's get that out. Reload. That's a big clove. Ooh. That's a good one. You got little pieces up there. Kind of don't lose any, you know. A lot of goodness there. Okay, next. This one's kind of small, so it'll balance out with that huge one. All right, good to go. So the next ingredient is a tablespoon of ginger. You can use fresh ginger if you have it, just grate it. If not, use the dried. All right, so the next ingredient is something I've never used before, but I'm excited to use it because I've seen it in a couple of other videos from other people on YouTube. And this is pronounced gochujang. I looked it up. So it starts with a G, but it's gochujang. And this, I'm going to read it right from the dictionary here, is a spicy paste used in Korean cooking made from red chili peppers, fermented soybeans, rice, and salt. So I grabbed a container of this, and we are going to add a tablespoon of this to our marinade. It kind of is wrapped like this. Once you open it up, it's like a wet paste in there, if you can see. So we are going to do, and I'm going to kind of use this tablespoon and put it in here just to measure it. Okay. So that's, and this is going to be spicy. Just going to add some spice to it and just a real depth of flavor. Now I want to mention too, I didn't mention this earlier, but in some grocery stores you will find, and you can look online too, they make Bulgogi, Asian barbecue, Bulgogi marinade, already made in a bottle. You can grab that and kind of forgo all of this. Honestly, I did want to make it from scratch once. This is my first time making it from scratch. And when I went to pick it up, it wasn't at my grocery store. So I thought, let's make it from scratch this time. But if you want to save a whole bunch of time, you can buy Bulgogi marinade and just do it that way. All right, and then we are just going to stir this all together. Just take our thinly sliced ribeye steak and add it to the marinade. Yum, yum, yum. And then honestly, just use your hands. That way you can feel that it's all getting completely submerged into this marinade. Doesn't that sound gross? Hey. Is what it is. Okay. All right. Once you've got it all submerged, rinse your hands off and just grab like a plastic wrap or the lid to the bowl and then just put it in your refrigerator for 2 hours or overnight if you choose. Okay, the first ingredient that we're gonna prep are carrots. And I grabbed a couple. This one is really weird looking. I didn't notice it when I grabbed it, but it might be okay. We'll find out. We'll cut this one first. So what we wanna do is peel these, and then we're gonna cut them into matchsticks. Just, small. You want all these ingredients to be small so that you can kind of sprinkle them on your lettuce wrap. So go ahead and peel these first. Okay. All right, so they're peeled and it looks like I probably will be okay. What I'm gonna do, I want them to be matchsticks about, yay big. So I'm thinking cutting this into thirds or so just to get that length. Let me just cut that off. Okay. Yeah, these look fine. All right, so just, kind of cut them in half, and then you want to cut them into thin planks first. Maybe not that thin. Do your best not to cut your finger open. And you can even go that way, honestly, which might even be a little bit easier, to be honest. We'll go that way. And then just, yeah. This is a bit easier rather than going long ways. Because, like, again, like I said, you just want to sprinkle it on your lettuce wrap. So just do your best to chop these into little tiny strips. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna prep are radishes. So I grabbed 2 big ones and 2 like a little bit smaller ones. And we'll just cut off the ends. And then I think what we'll do is cut them at least in half. They're kind of bigger pieces, so the big ones I'm gonna do kind of in quarters, and then we'll just slice them thin. Next we'll prep some cucumber, because that would be good in this, I believe. So I'm thinking, let's just do a hunk like that. Cut off the end. I got the English cucumber. Give it a little rinse. And I would say we'll go down the middle. And I'm just trying to decide how I want these. And we can just go ahead and kind of like this. Alright, it's a good pile of cucumbers. Another great addition to these fixins would be green onion, I think. So I'll go ahead and I'm grabbing 4 of them. So I'm just rinsing them off and just chop these up. At this point, you might want to put your separate ingredients into little dishes. Because it will fill up your cutting board. The next thing I'm grabbing for is cilantro. So I'm just gonna chop it, and I'm just gonna chop up a bunch of it and just kind of like, you know, kind of go on a diagonal to get it off the stems a bit. You can chop up some of the stems for sure. I just don't like a lot of them. So just kind of do that. And then, you know, I like to pick out, you know, as many of the stems as I can so you don't have a ton. They taste fine, but it looks nicer, I think, when it's mostly leaves and you're cutting it up. Probably just me being weird. Okay, so the final vegetable that we'll prep is the lettuce for the lettuce wraps. So I got about the biggest head of Boston lettuce I've ever seen. Usually they're a lot smaller than this. So you just want to peel off the leaves and then, of course, you know, rinse them off, dry them off on paper towels so that they're ready to go. And try to keep them intact as much as you can. You're going to see a lot of dirt on these when you pull these apart. So you're going to want to really be thorough rinsing all of these off. I'm just going to pull it apart first. And that way you can determine what the different leaves look like. If you've got like these really hard ribs, I would say, you know, just kind of like take those part of the ribs out. You know, because you want to be able to put your ingredients in there and fold it up and not have it super hard to bite down on. So that's really what you want to do. Just go through and look at this. Look how huge that is. Might cut that one in half, you know what I mean? So yeah, just go through your head of lettuce and create your lettuce wraps. Get those ready to go. Okay, so the next ingredient and the final ingredient to prepare for the lettuce wraps is cold Asian noodles. So you can kind of just choose whatever Asian noodles you would like to make, or any noodle. I mean, you can even use spaghetti, I guess. But I have these Asha Tainan noodles, basically kind of a ramen noodle package that I'm going to use. So I'm going to put some water to boil. Let's put it here. Get that going. And yeah, I'm just going to use the noodles part, not the season packet on the inside. And then just follow the directions to cook these in the boiling water. And then we'll drain them and put them in a bowl as well, chop them up so that they'll be easily distributed through the lettuce wraps as well. Okay, so it's been about 2 hours, so I just pulled the steak out of the fridge. And I am heating up a griddle. I figured, you know, if you've got a griddle available, it's more surface area, because we're basically going to be putting these strips down onto the griddle or whatever pan you're going to be using, cooking them at a higher temperature quickly to kind of get them some color on each side and then pulling them off. That's kind of how we're going to go through this whole thing. So I chose to heat up a griddle. So I'm taking this out as the griddle heats up because I want to get some of the coldness off of the meat, let it sit a bit, and then we will grill it up. All right, so we want to add some oil to the griddle. Move that around a bit. As you can see, you know, it's pretty hot because, again, we want to cook this quick, and it's thinly sliced small pieces of steak, so it is going to cook quickly. And this will keep it nice and tender and give it some good color. So then we're just going to pop it on there. Try and lay it as flat as you can and attempt to work quickly. Kind of wanting to stick all together. As they look like they're done, just start taking them off the griddle. Sweating after that. Okay, so here is the finished product of the meat portion of it anyway. So nice, you know, pieces of steak. They're super good. I tried one. You got little pieces of char on them, and so much flavor from that marinade. Just a tiny little bit of heat, not a ton. So don't be afraid of the gochujang if you want to buy that. There's a nice tanginess to it, a little bit of sweet, but not what you would think with the pear and the sugar. It's more tangy. It's a great flavor. So here we go, and it is time to put them together. Okay, it is time to put together a lettuce wrap and taste. So I have the ingredients kind of over here, and we've got the meat here. So I am just gonna go ahead, grab a lettuce wrap, and grab some tongs. Start out by, I would say actually, start out by getting some of your noodles. And with these noodles, after I cook them, I hit them with just a little drizzle of this toasted sesame oil. And then I was easily able to kind of mix up the noodles so they wouldn't stick together. And then I took the kitchen shears and cut them a little bit within the pot so that they're you know, just kind of like smaller pieces. So anyway, go ahead and grab some noodles, put that down on your lettuce leaf, and then grab some meat, lay that down. Okay, and then we can do some radish. Some cucumber. Carrot. And they're so pretty too, they're colorful. Let's see, we've got green onion. And obviously you can do whatever vegetables you want. And I'm gonna hit it with toasted sesame seeds. Some of those. Some of this sweet chili sauce. Just squirt some of that on top. Kind of drizzle on top. And a bit of cilantro. And then you just wrap that baby up. Try not to dump it all over the place. Here is what it looks like. You can kind of see it there. And then take a bite. Really, really good. Messy, for sure. Definitely messy, but super fresh, super light. You know, most people I think are gonna really like these. They're great for a hot day like today. And like I said, you know, a cookout or a party or something. You wanna just put out something that's gonna give you some protein and some vegetables, but it's not heavy. This is perfect. So anyway, there you have it, beef bulgogi lettuce wraps. So I hope you make this. If you do, let me know. Comment down below. I'll have the entire recipe down below, so you don't have to keep rewatching this video unless you want to. That's fine. That's your prerogative. But yeah, I'll have it down there. Let me know if you make it. Send me a picture or something. I'd love to see it. So anyway, thanks for stopping by again, and I'll see you next time.